The Catatumbo forest is at the heart of the largest coca-growing area in Colombia. The country is producing more cocaine than ever before, and the drug is now Colombia's most important export. But in recent times, a new trend has emerged. While coca production is booming, many farmers are having trouble finding buyers. The reason? Overproduction.
My name is Wilder Franco, and I work in agriculture. The income I earn from coca allows me and my family to get what we need to live, only the essentials. Why do I grow coca? Catatumbo is known for being very large and remote. You are far away from the main roads and highways. It's much easier to transport 10 kilos of coca paste, which fits into a small bag, than 20 or 30 loads of bananas, which take up much more space. There's just one step missing to turn this into coca paste. It's not yet been fried. That means it's still impure. You throw it into a pot, heat it up, and remove the water and all the impurities. 2 years ago, this was worth 2,750,000 pesos, about 640 euros. Now it's worth nothing because nobody buys it anymore. There are about 120 to 130,000 plants here. We use them to make 30 or 40 kilos of coca paste. That's about 75 to 80 million pesos, around 17 to 18,000 euros. But now, I'm in danger of losing everything, because nobody is buying coca paste right now. I harvest and store it all, but nobody buys it. I think this is the biggest crisis coca farmers in Catatumbo have ever faced. It doesn't just affect Catatumbo in North Santander, but other parts of the country as well. My name is Johandri Villamizar, and I'm 17 years old. I've been working here for about 2 years. Before that, I went to school in Venezuela. But because of the economic crisis, I had to come here to work. Back then, I lived with my grandparents. My grandmother was getting more and more sick. My grandfather had an injured arm. That's why my grandmother said I should come work here. To help them out, I sometimes send them money. Harvesting coca is strictly illegal. Sometimes government soldiers come to a coca farm and destroy the coca plants. If you're working there, you get arrested. They can even burn down the lab and destroy everything. Who are you? Johandri. How much do you have? 31 kilograms. We used to have lots of money and little coca paste. Now we have lots of paste but no money.
Many people here work with coca because its cultivation accounts for 70% of economic output. Everything here revolves around coca. The problem right now is selling it, which has a huge impact on trade. Everything is affected. Anything else?
El rol de la coca
Here's what coca does. It's the plant that kills. Armed groups are fighting for more land so that they can expand coca cultivation. It's the reason behind all the conflict. If we were growing cassava, plantains, and other things on these lands, nobody would be fighting over it. And we, the entire population, are the ones caught in the middle. My name is Claudia Patricia Manrica Rios. I'm working to help victims of sexual violence. It's difficult to be a woman in this area. Some of us have endured horrible things. In my case, it was sexual violence. We live in constant fear. My personal experience is difficult because you can't fathom how someone would think of using your body as a spoil of war. I fought with all my might, but I couldn't. When you have a gun to your head, it's very difficult. Also, because my daughter was there. And I thought, what else can I do? I had no strength left. And then, after I had fought for as long as I could, they hit me in the face with one of the weapons they had with them. I passed out and then regained consciousness. I was gone and came back. I remember it well. But these are memories I would like to erase. This experience destroyed me, emotionally, sexually, personally. I wish we didn't have coca in our region, because if there was no coca, we wouldn't have to live with all these dangers all the time, with the confrontations. We wouldn't live in fear.
I need to tell you something. I've checked our finances, and the situation is tough. I hardly have any work, and that affects wage payments. On the one hand, there's no more work. We can no longer harvest coca on the farm. And on the other, we have to talk about my debt to you, the wages I still owe you for the last few weeks. I've already done the math, and I think I'll have to pay you with a few grams of coca paste. Because, as you know, there's no cash right now. If there's no more work because things are so hard, I don't want coca paste. I'd rather wait until you can sell coca paste. And when you have cash to pay me, let me know, and I'll come back then to collect the money. You tell me when there's money or work, and I'll come back.
This is going to be my house. This will be my little house. There are 2 rooms here. One on the right is a bathroom. The other room is the living room, dining room, and kitchen.
Sala, comedor y la cocina va acá.
One room I'll make available to victims who need a place to stay. And what we can do here, in this big dining room, is have conversations. We can talk about topics like empowerment, so we can feel better. This house is a start. It's a rebirth for me in my own healing process. If I could only manage to finish building this house. There are not that many women in this area. One way or another, I'll help them heal their wounds. If I could do that for myself, bit by bit, then I can do that for them too. We've paid a steep price. Sometimes I wish the government was a bit more humane and would help us more. We often feel abandoned and alone. And sometimes we get tired. Still, we have no choice but to carry on. Always with the hope that maybe one day we'll have peace.
Because this crisis of not being able to sell coca paste has dragged on so long, it's now become impossible for us to make a living from coca cultivation. But selling palm oil could be a good business. For one, it requires only a small investment. It's also easier to cultivate. The palm is cut every 4 to 6 months and it's harvested with a scythe. You don't need to be a slave to cultivation, like you do with coca. The new danger I see as a farmer is that palm cultivation will lead to the development of a monoculture. I fear it will spread too much and degrade the soil as a result.
Many farmers have switched from coca to palm oil production, but violence by armed groups continues.